Hey guys, how you doing today? This is Crouton coming back at you again. This isn't really a YouTube video. I'm going to be posting this on Discord for anybody who's playing Season of Discovery still. Maybe a little shaman guide. Shaman can be a little bit overwhelming. It certainly has a lot of buttons, and there's a lot of things that I feel like you should know. So, what will we be talking about today? Well, we'll just go over some basic things, such as some talents. We will be going over some runes on your gear, and we will be going over gear itself. It might help if I would put on the correct helmet and not my role-playing helmet. There we go. So, first and foremost, let's talk about talents. Now, there's a few things that you could do here. I choose to go for all talents into Tidal Focus, improve Healing Wave. I go for Totemic Focus. I also go for Ancestral Healing. Improve Reincarnation is really niche. It's sometimes nice to have when you need to get up quick. Healing Focus, it's okay. Healing Focus can be quite good if you are finding yourself to have aggro on a ton of mobs, such as the Mason the Echo encounter in Scarlet Enclave. This will allow you to keep healing, even if you are being attacked by mobs and not get spell pushback. Totemic Mastery, that's just extra range on your totems. Really good, specifically because of this ability called Totemic Projection, which just throws your totems a certain distance. You can throw your totems and they will be in range of targets beyond where the totem is sitting. Healing Grace, obviously really good. Reduces the threat caused by all of your healing spells by 15%. Restorative Totems, not really that great. We kind of just take it so we can get access to these talents, which is Tidal Mastery, 5% crit to all of your healing spells, and lightning spells if you decide to DPS. I personally don't really do that. I kind of focus on keeping the whole raid alive. Healing Way. This is pretty good for fights. Let me explain how this works. So Healing Wave is quite good, especially with the, I believe it's the 4-piece for tier 3.5, excuse me. So it says there, your Healing Wave and Lesser Healing Wave also heal your Earth Shield target for 50% as much if that is a different target. We'll get into why that's so good in a moment. Nature Swiftness, basically just a 3-minute CD. It gives you an instant cast ability. Specifically really nice when paired with Chain Heal. Purification, extremely good. It increases just flat out your healing spell healing by 10%, and it also increases your Riptide and Earth Shield by 100%. So your Riptide disability and Earth Shield disability are going to be hitting twice as hard for twice as much healing. I take Ancestral Knowledge, just basic mana increase. Now, there's a couple of things that you can do here. There is a few points that you can take out of this tree if you have, if you feel comfortable with your mana. You could take talents out of Tidal Focus and Totemic Focus, and maybe put them into, I don't know, like maybe Guardian Totems or Lightning Shield to get access to Enhancing Totems, which is quite good, especially for if you have melee in your group. This will give them more effectiveness and stats from your Strength of Earth Totem and your Grace of Air Totem. You could also decide to come over into the Elemental tree and take maybe Concussion or Convection. And this will give you access to Elemental Warding. Now, here's something important to understand about Elemental Warding. It has saved me a lot, and it is a significant damage reduce. You can sometimes survive with under 100 health. This is specifically helpful in fights with a lot of magic damage, such as the Reborn Council inside of Scarlet Enclave. You're always taking fire damage from Dome Tornadoes and Saffron and Naxxramas, he has a Frost Aura. This will also reduce your damage taken. It has niche uses. I find it to be very effective when used on bosses that have high magical damage. So, moving on to runes, of course. There is... I don't really know if there is multiple builds, but this is the one that I find the most viable. And if we take a look over here at Warcraft logs... Oh, no, that one's a 99. This one was a 100 last time I checked, but it's a 99 now. As you can see, I'm ranked 7 there and ranked 7th there. Now, keep in mind, this is all just from the past few weeks. I could take more advantage and push my parses higher, but I just haven't been playing a whole lot, so I haven't been able to do that. But if we go down here, I'm in top 100 shamans in the world for all raiding content, from Molten Core to Scarlet Enclave. So, let's talk about this setup here. Tidal Waves, it's basically just going to give your chain heals 2 charges of Tidal Waves. So when you cast Chain Heal or Riptide, you gain 2 charges of Tidal Waves. This just reduces the cast time of Healing Wave and Chain Heal. And this is a really good talent, and it's the only talent here, but why this is so good is the more Chain Heals that you're getting off, the better your healing is going to be, and I'll explain that in a minute. Let's talk about Healing Rain. I used this when I was first getting into Shaman. It's somewhat satisfying to use. However, it's really, really bad. You could see how bad it is because it only heals 93 every second. Whereas Overload is going to give you basically a second free chain heal on a 60% percentage-based proc. So whenever you cast Chain Heal, you have a 60% chance to cast a second free spell. It costs no additional costs, and it also causes half threat, or causes half damage or healing and no threat. No threat. Okay, so it causes no threat. So this is quite good. You will use this over Healing Rain every single time. I think Healing Rain was decent in like phase 3 or 4, back when you didn't have Sham Rage. I think that's what somebody had said to me, but yeah, Healing Rain is terrible now. I wouldn't use it. Power Surge is quite good. It just gives you a 5% chance to make Chain Heal free and instant. So whenever you cast Riptide, it just gives you a chance to gain an instant Chain Heal. Legs is going to be Earth Shield. I don't think that any of these damage compared to healing up to. Yeah, they're not really that great, so Earth Shield is probably going to be the best one. So you got for your feet rune, there's a couple options here. These are all really good choices. Decoy Totem is pretty good. I use Decoy Totem in fights like Patchwork. It will redirect the next melee attack made. This also includes Hateful Strikes for Patchwork, so that could save a tank. Spirit of the Alpha. You usually have a lot of shamans in your group. If you're in a raid group, with the kind of gear that I have, I usually never run this unless there's just no shamans. Ancestral Awakening, I run this and it is quite good, especially if you're always using Healing Wave. It's quite a good talent. It just heals the lowest percentage health member of your party for 30% of the amount healed by your Healing Wave. So it is quite a good ability. Again, paired with the 3.5 set bonus. Wrist, Riptide, this will heal a friendly target. It's basically the healing version of a Flame Shock, so it heals a friendly target for an instant amount, and then it deals a healing over time on a target. but it also triggers a effect that will increase the amount of healing done by your chain heals by 52%, and it will also trigger Ancestral Awakening. And this right here is why these two work well together. If you take Ancestral Awakening, it just procs when you cast Riptide, and it will just be a passive amount of healing. If we take a look at raw data, I can't access that right now. Oh, those are deaths, I believe. Healing done. Oh, that's right, I had to run alpha. Okay, so the reason why this is so low is because in the raid I was doing, I had to run alpha. Big deal. So Ancestral Awakening is usually way higher, especially if you're always casting Riptide. So I will just take my word for it. These two work very well together. Okay, so for your hands rune, now Water Shield is a very special ability. Let's talk about Water Shield. The caster is surrounded by 3 globes of water, granting 1% of your maximum mana per 5 seconds. Now, I always thought that I would never need mana, because I have Shamanistic Rage, I have Major Mana Potions, I have Demonic Runes, I have this, I have that. In a fight where there is a ton of raid damage coming out, you're always going to be spamming Chain Heal, and if you're using the Spirit Healer Shoulder rune, you will run out of mana. I've done it before, and you will run out of mana. So you would get around that by using Water Shield. I'll explain that in a moment. For your ring runes, obviously meditation and healing. For your back rune, Coherence is going to cause Chain Heal to reduce less per jump, and it will jump to 1 additional target. So this is obviously really insane, especially, again, when paired with the 3.5 set bonus, which we will talk about in just a second. So moving on to trinkets now, there's a number of trinkets in the game for healers that you could obtain. Fetish, specifically good for Maxina and Naxxramas. This will turn you untargetable, and you can cancel it after the web spray goes out so that you can heal the tank. Eye of the Dead, this is good for sustained healing. It has basic equip healing on it, and has an on-use effect that just is a monstrous amount of healing to your spells. Lodestone is for tanks. We'll talk about that in a moment. I haven't tried Lucky Doubloon yet. I wanted to with a critical chain heal build. We'll come back to that. Talisman of Ephemeral Power. This is kind of just one of those niche trash trinkets that you could use. Like if you're on a trash fight and trash hits kind of hard, you can pop this and just get a little bit more healing out of your abilities. Warmth of Forgiveness. Now, there's a couple of things that you could do with this. And I usually don't see a need to use this, especially with how much I've gotten used to playing my shaman. But if you're newer as shaman and you don't know how to manage your mana as well, maybe this would be a really good option. I have multiple sets in my bags, as you see. We'll talk in a minute about that. But Warmth of Forgiveness is going to be great for if you're new at shaman. Especially if you have really high damage intake. Desecrated Prayer Book. Now, this, I didn't expect this would be good, to be honest with you. I thought it was going to be completely overshadowed by Eye of the Dead or, like, Warmth of Forgiveness. But this is the quest trinket from Grand Crusader Calderan in Scarlet Enclave. This is for the charred emblem right here. This trinket is actually quite good, especially because it increases your casting speed by 3%, which is an insane amount, especially when your chain heals are only, like 1.5 second cast time. So it's definitely noticeable. And the more chain heals that you're getting, the better your overall healing is going to be, especially if you have fights like Calderan where there's high damage intake all the time. Stilts is standard. Okay, this is one of the best trinkets in the game, hands down. These last two trinkets we're going to be getting into are two of the best trinkets in the game. They have so much utility. Stilts is standard, just gives you a passive 88 healing. It has 10 intellect, 10 spirit, and it's not really what we care about. What we care about is the on-use effect. It says, throw down the standard of stilts, increasing the maximum health on nearby allies by 1,000 for 20 seconds. Now, I want you to really read this. It says, health of all nearby allies, not nearby party members, not nearby raid members, all nearby allies, which means if you toss this down in a raid, such in an encounter such as Solastraza, you will give 1,000 extra health to the entire raid if they stay around your standard. This is a completely broken trinket, especially for fights like Solastraza or even Calderon when you have a ton of damage intake. This trinket is really, really good. I would definitely recommend getting it. Hibernation Crystal. Now, this one is extremely underrated and is one of the best trinkets in the game, hands down. This is how I was able to push high parses, and the reason why is, if you notice both of these trinkets here, this is Hibernation Crystal, this is Natural Alignment Crystal. So, Hibernation Crystal has a 15-second buff, so by the time that buff wears off, it's a minute 15 cooldown. So you can constantly be popping this on longer fights, and your healing will just be insane because you're constantly popping a trinket. It gives you almost 400 healing for 15 seconds, which is basically a baby version of Natural Alignment Crystal, but it doesn't cost, and it's 45-second less cooldown. Which brings me on to my next trinket, Natural Alignment Crystal. It says aligns the shaman with nature, increasing damage done by spells by 20% and heal effects by 20%. Now, here's the catch. It increases the mana cost of all your spells by 20% for 20 seconds. So you have to be sort of careful when you pop this trinket so that you don't run out of mana. Scarab Brooch. This, in my opinion, is the best trinket in the game for healers. It gives magical heals. Your magical heals provide the target with a shield that absorbs damage equal to 15% of the amount healed for 30 seconds. Now, why is this significant? The answer to that is shamans can heal 10 targets at a time with their chain heal. Druids can heal a ton of targets at a time with their dots and efflorescence and that green circle on the ground. Priests can heal a ton of targets at a time with Prayer of Mending and Circle of Healing. Mages can heal a ton of targets at a time with Mass Regeneration and their AoE healing. I don't play a healing mage. So this trinket is extremely broken, especially if you use this in a high damage intake scenario. It spreads shields out to everybody. Especially in Nax, this is really good because of the higher numbers. Every healer needs to have Scarab Brooch. In my opinion, it's the best trinket that a healer could have. You basically want this in your bags or glued to your character at all times, unless specific situations require you to put on either Stilts or Desecrated Prayer Book like that, or Fetish and Eye of the Dead. So there's about 1 million different combos that you could try with this. And I think I have every trinket. Oh, there is one trinket that I don't have. Prester's Hairpin. This one was from Phase 3, I believe. This is quite good. It's okay. If you can get your hands on this, it's quite good. It's another trash trinket that you can use. You can swap it out in between trash and push your healing a little bit further. I think that is it. I don't think that there's any more healing trinkets that I don't have. Maybe I'm missing one. Oh, I am missing one. So, Enchanting has a trinkets called the Ruby Encrusted Brooch. So how this works is it's basically a replacement for the Rejuvenation Gem, which drops from the 3 Drake encounter in Blackwing Lair. But it's a little bit better. It gives you 1 crit, 68 spell healing, and 18 intellect. This is a good trinket. It technically is BIS, but I find Prayer Book is a tiny bit better because of the casting speed, and the crit has more crit. But if you technically wanted to go from a BIS list, this is technically BIS combined with, I believe, Natural Alignment Crystal. I still need to make one of these. I believe that is it for healing trinkets. I don't think that I missed any. In any event, let's talk about the different sets that you could use. So there's a number of them. Shaman has, I think, the most sets, different sets. It has like 4 different sets. So for my BIS, and again, looking over at our parses here, I could push these farther, but this is the gear that I use, and these are my parses, so I believe I have license to know what I'm talking about here. What I usually use is I run in with Scarab Brooch and Natural Alignment Crystal, both off a cooldown, of course. So Soul Crusher headpiece, this is what you're going to want to use for your helmet. You're going to want to have the ZG enchant on there. For your necklace, you're going to want Touch of Light. This drops from Soul Straza. Terrible drop rate. Pray for you guys to get this, but it sucks to get. It took me like I think 5 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that. Now here's the problem, right? There is technical BIS lists that say that legs are better, or but if we go to the collections and we look at the Stormcaller's Relief, we will see that the Stormcaller's leggings, you are losing 2 casting speed, 1 crit, and a whole bunch of healing power. So if we go to the shoulders, you get 1 crit and 62 healing power with the shoulders. Now you differentiate that with the 3.5. That means that you're only losing 3 casting speed from your shoulders, and only 4 healing power, which is a lot better than losing almost 30 healing power, a crit, and a bunch of attack speed. So it's basically losing nothing. For your boots, you're kind of losing a little bit, but it's better than equipping any other piece. Like you're losing almost 20 healing from equipping that, 2 crit and 2 casting speed. And if you use the chest, which 2.5 chest is awful, you're going to be losing like 40, 35 healing power, a bunch of casting speed, and a bunch of stats. So the boots and the shoulders are going to be the best ones here. Critical strike and healing, you're only losing, let's see, you're only losing a little bit of casting speed and a little bit of healing power, but it's not nearly as much as the other pieces. So this right here is going to be the standard set that you use. We'll talk about infinite mana in a second, and I'll explain to you how that works. So Stormcaller's Pauldrons with the Saffron enchant or the Zul'Gurub enchant, I think is BIS technically, but I haven't been able to get exalted with ZG. So I use the Saffron ones, but this is BIS. Cardinal Shawl, this is the best in slot cloak. This is what you want to get. Soul Crusher Tunic with living stats, of course. You want Soul Crusher wrist guards. You would want Soul Crusher handguards. You'd want Soul Crusher girdle. You would want Soul Crusher leg guards. Stormcaller's foot guards, of course. Ring of Resurrection. This is a really good ring. It has way more healing power than anything else in the game. Ring of the Earth Shatterer. Again, if you look at this ring, I was using the one off of a new Rakan for a while until I started getting into casting speed. So I have started using the casting speed ring from Kel'Thuzad now over the Anub'akan ring. And of course, you want Scarab Brooch and Natural Alignment Crystal or Hibernation Crystal. Those are the trinkets that you're going to be using for 99% of boss fights. If you have some boss fights that are longer, you could swap out maybe Scarab Brooch for like Eye of the Dead or Stilted Standard, or just a bunch of different combos you can do. You really just have to play with it and see what works for you. But to get the parses that I have, I run in with this trinket combo. And going back to what I said earlier, the reason why that this trinket combo is so broken is because that you can use Scarab Brooch and Natural Alignment Crystal on top of each other. So usually when you use a trinket, you have to wait. There's like a cooldown to use the next trinket. You can't use them back to back. However, with Scarab Brooch and Natural Alignment Crystal, you can pop both of them at once, and you can see that you have the 2 buffs on your buff bar at the top of your screen. So this is going to provide you a ton of burst healing, which is especially helpful on fights such as Saffron and Naxxramas, Thaddeus, Grobulus. Grand Ritter Faralina can get pretty dicey. The 4 Horsemen. Kel'Thuzad especially. Grand Crusader Calderon is probably the best fight for this because there's passive damage all through Phase 1. Solastraza, again, another really good fight for this trinket combo. Alexi the Beastlord, also a really good fight for this trinket combo, especially because of the shield. It's going to just give a ton of shield to everybody with the stacks, so it will be killing them slower because of their shield. Lillian Voss, this trinket combo is really good, and I usually save the trinket combo for the Ignite phase so that nobody dies during the Ignite phase, which is really good. You could use it during Reborn Council, really any fight with high rate damage. So for your weapon, you are going to want to use Spire of Sacrifice. Now, here's the thing with Spire Sacrifice. I'll explain this to you. Spire Sacrifice has a on-use effect on it. It will increase your healing by 200, but you sacrifice some of your health for every heal that you cast. This includes instant heals as well. So what you can do with this scepter to pat your own healing, patting your own healing basically means that you are turning this on, you're healing, you're sacrificing your own health. You're healing people, you're healing people, you're healing people, you're healing people. Okay, now you have no health. So what you can do is you can cast Healing Wave, or you can cast an instant Healing Wave from your 2-piece. Yeah, it is your 2-piece. You can cast an instant Healing Wave from your 2-piece, and it will show up on the healing meters, so you can pat your own healing. What does this mean? You could also do really sweaty stuff, like standing in puddles and boss mechanics and taking damage, just so you can heal yourself and pat your own healing to make yourself look better on the healing meters. I personally don't go that hard. I really focus on keeping the rate alive, but if you're wanting to go for parses, I totally get it. So for your shields, you have 3 options as far as shields go. You could either pick up the shield off of Oro, which is the Worm Scale blocker. This is a good starting shield. Or you could pick up the Shield of Condemnation and Nathrezim Heart from Kel'Thuzad and Balnazar, respectfully. Shield of Condemnation I tend to like a little bit better because it has the additional casting speed, and I already have a ton of crit on all of my gear, so I prefer the casting speed over the extra crit. This makes, again, my chain heals faster, and it makes me able to get more chain heals off per capita per boss fight. So it's really good. You could use Nathrezim Heart. Again, it's a really good shield. It just comes down to personal preference. I don't think that it really matters. It's just personal preference for me. And for your totem, you want Totem of Flowing Water. I believe this is from Noth the Plaguebringer inside of Naxxramas. It just gives 3% more. It just basically gives you 3% more to all of your core healing spells, Chain Heal, Riptide, or Shield, blah, blah. So it's a really good totem. I would pick this up. So now let's move on to what kind of sets that you could use. And technically, there's a lot of different things that you could do, right? So this is just the standard healing set. You will only wear this set that I'm wearing now with the Stormcaller's Pauldrons and Stormcaller's Footguards if there is not a lot of heavy raid damage coming in and you are able to push Riptide. Now, what do I mean by this? If the raid is damaged and you are pushing Riptide, you are losing heals per second by pushing Riptide over Chain Heal, because Riptide is doing less healing even with that increase to Chain Heal than what just casting Chain Heal is going to do. So on a fight like Calderon, if you are casting Riptide, you're not going to be as high as other healers on the meter who are only pushing Chain Heal. So what do we do to get around this? I just told you guys that you're going to run out of mana if you sit there and spam Chain Heals. Well, if we come over here and look at the tier 2 set bonus, it says your non-periodic damaging and healing critical strikes now have a 100% chance to trigger your water shield, but do not consume a charge or trigger its cooldown. Now, what does this mean? What does Water Shield do? Going back to this rune. Water Shield gives you 1% of your maximum mana per 5 seconds. So, what does this mean? This means that if you are wearing this set, well, let me actually show you. If you are wearing the 10 Storms, and this goes back to what I said about the 2.5 in stat decay, the Bracers and the Pauldrons are the least stat decay of all other items from 3.5 to tier 2. So there are no other items in the tier 2 set that have less stat decay from 3.5 than what these do. Now, what do I mean by stat decay? Now, naturally, when you use these sets, you are going to have less stats on them than what this set would. So what I mean by stat decay is for certain pieces, how much stats are you losing and how many stats are you not getting access to because you are using worse gear from a different phase. And the set bonus is just too good to ignore. So that's why I have tested this myself. Pauldrons and Bracers are the least stat decay from 3.5. It has the least stat decay. So that is why I would use that. So this set right here is your standard Shaman healing set. You will use this set if there's no heavy raid damage coming in and the raid is topped. So what would your rotation look like? You would cast a Riptide, and then cast Chain Heal, cast Chain Heal, cast Chain Heal. As soon as Riptide's off cooldown, cast it again, and then cast Chain Heal, Chain Heal, Chain Heal, Chain Heal, Chain Heal. So that's how that rotation looks for the normal healing set. Again, you only want to push Riptide when the raid is topped. If you push it when the raid is not topped, you are losing healing by not pushing Chain Heal. So, when you have a raid that is taking heavy damage, you would use this set here. So, what are we doing? Well, we are swapping out the 2.5 boots for the 3.5 boots. We are swapping out the 2.5 shoulders for the tier 2 shoulders. and we are swapping out the 3.5 bracers for the tier 2 bracers. Now what this will allow you to do is, if you have a fight such as Calderon, you can sit there and perpetually cast Chain Heal, and you will not ever have to push Riptide, because the raid is never going to be topped. They're always going to be taking damage during a phase of the fight. So you're always going to want to prioritize casting Chain Heal over Riptide. You should never be casting Riptide on a Calderon fight, except in phase 2. Now, another set that you could use, and I'm not sure if I have this set, however, it is really nice. If you have a fight such as the Twin Dragons in Blackwing Lair, which require 2 tanks, or the 4 Horsemen inside of Naxxramas, which require 2 tanks, or any fight which requires more than 1 tank at once, you could go and pick up the tier... where is it? You could pick up the tier 3 2 set. What does the 2 set do? It makes it to where your Earth Shield ability never loses charges. The only way that your Earth Shield is going to go off of whoever you put it on is if it times out. Now, why is this overpowered? Because you can pair this with your Soul Crusher 4-piece bonus, and this will allow you to heal 2 tanks at once without having to reapply Earth Shield. Now, this is going to make or break a boss fight, especially if you have limited healing and limited range. This will allow you to do the back of 4 horsemen solo, and you can just stand in the middle and heal both people at once. So I personally have not tried this, but I will probably be testing this in this week's guild run. So I'm not sure how it's going to perform yet, but I am going to try it, and if you guys know if it works, you can go ahead and use it. But one thing that I do know about that is that 4-piece set bonus on Soul Crusher doesn't have a range, so you could heal them from a country mile away as long as they have your Earth Shield, which makes it especially broken on fights that require more than 1 tank paying attention. Patchwork, 4 Horsemen, even Alexa the Beast Lord, the 2 mini bosses on Thaddeus, Kel'Thuzad. Though on Kel'Thuzad, I would probably wear either the Infinite Mana build or 2.5. And this is what this build that I call is. I call it Infinite Mana because if you have Water Shield on you, this is what the rotation for this build looks like. You're going to cast Water Shield, cast Earth Shield on your target, and just keep casting Chain Heal. Now, why is this broken? Chain Heal heals 10 targets at a time if it overloads. If it overloads, it heals 10 targets at a time. Now, for every single crit that you get from Chain Heal, you are gaining 1% of your mana back. And if you have 50% crit on your gear like I do, that you're gaining on average 5% of your mana back, which essentially means that your Chain Heal is now free and will actually give you mana if you cast it. If you have this set on, just the normal shaman healing build, you would want to probably downrank to lesser forms of Chain Heal. What do I mean by downranking? Well, downranking means that instead of casting a full maximum strength Chain Heal, maybe the raid doesn't have a lot of damage. So maybe you cast a rank 1 Chain Heal just to top them off because they haven't taken enough damage yet to warrant using a rank 3 Chain Heal. And this is a massive difference in your mana management, especially if you are not using my talent setup with the extra mana that this gives me. So it's even more imperative if you are not using those talents to downrank your Chain Heal spells and have them next to each other. So rank 3 Chain Heal I would cast if the raid is at an average of 50% health or lower. I would cast rank 2 Chain Heal if the raid is at 65 to 70% health, maybe 75% health or lower. And rank 1 Chain Heal I would cast if the raid is at 75 or more percent health in total. This Chain Heal will still have enough oomph to heal the raid to full, even if they're at 70 to 75%. You only want to use rank 3 Chain Heals when there's extremely heavy raid damage coming out. So let's see if I've missed anything. My tanking setup. Okay, so I crafted this myself. It works for me. Maybe it doesn't work for you, but it works for me, so I'm going to go over it. Actually, I use Fetish and swap specs. So this is my solo setup. This is how I farm Runecloth and Stratholme and different areas of the game where you could, on average, not solo it. So I won't really go too much into detail about it, but you basically want 5 into Concussion, 3 into Call of Flame, 3 into Elemental Warding, 5 Call of Thunder, 5 Reverberation, 2 Improve Fire Totems, 1 into Storm Reach, 1 into Elemental Fury. And then you want 5 Shield Block Specialization, 2 Guardian Totems, 3 Improved Lightning Shield, 2 Enhancing Totems, Anticipation 5, Toughness 5, 3 into Elemental Weapons, and 1 into Parry. Right, I forgot the Shoulder Rune on my healing set. So the Shoulder Rune on my healing set that I use is Spirit Healer. It minuses off 0.5 seconds from your Chain Heal cast time. So you would always use Spirit Healer on your Resto Shoulder Rune. Always. Always, always, always. So for my tanking setup, I use Burn. I use Storm Tender, which gives your Chain Heal the ability to heal your last target affected by your Earth Shield for 100% of its damage done. I use Face Guard of 10 Storms, ZG Enchant. I use the Soul Crusher Pauldrons with Storm Tender. The Dawnbringer's Cloak from the Soul Estraza is a massive difference. Chest Guard of 10 Storms, tank, with health plus 100. Wrist Guards of 10 Storms from the Tier 2 tank, and I use Deflection on that. Thalkatoon, the Unseen Guest. Now, you could technically use... This build is to the point now to where it's so tanky, you will just never die with it. Like, even if you have the 75% healing debuff from the Ghostly Citizens and Stratholme, they're not killing you, especially with 50% shield block chance. So, I would probably opt to get TR's Fall from Grand Crusader Calderon. Gives you more spell damage. So I would probably replace Thalkatoon with Tiri's Fall. Terrestris, this is the Shaman only class shield from Blackwing Lair. You will want this. This is an absolutely massive item. It just does a ton of damage, especially the higher your block chance goes, the more damage this does because of the boons of the totems. I'll let you guys figure that out yourself when you try it out. Lodestone Retaliation, Stamina, Defense, Reflection. That's everything that we want. Fetish of the Sand Reaver. This is for an oh shit situation where you want to get away from an enemy. Shield Warden's Guard, absolutely massive. Shield block value, defense, hit, stamina, everything you want. Overlord's Onyx Band, absolutely massive. Shield block chance, defense, stamina. Sabatons of 10 Storms, again, very good. Soul Crusher Leg Plates, Waist Guard of 10 Storms, and Hand Guards of 10 Storms. The gloves and belt are all tank, and the legs are also tank. And you also want to put the ZG Enchant on these. So here's the way that you play this. So the way that you keep yourself alive is you will want to use Flame Tongue Weapon to proc your burn. And you want to use Molten Blast, Flame Shock, Fire Nova Totem if you can. You have to kind of sidestep it, and then it'll work, but it takes some practice. You want to Earth Shield yourself, and you want to Lightning Shield yourself. Now, for Chain Lightning, how are we going to heal ourselves with this? With 1,000 mobs attacking you, you're not going to be able to heal yourself. You're going to get a bunch of spell pushback, right? The answer to that question is yes. Unless you have a way to proc instant cast chain heals, or chain lightning, excuse me. How do we do this? Maelstrom weapon. So this gives you a chance to gain a stack, and when you get 5 stacks, it reduces the cast time by 100%, and it's instant. So how do we get these stacks? Coming over back to the tank 10 storms set bonus. The 6th set bonus says each time you block an attack, you have a 50% chance to trigger your Maelstrom weapon rune. So every time that you block, you have a coin flip chance of gaining a Maelstrom weapon rune for your chain heal. When you get 5 stacks of that rune, you will instant cast a chain heal, and it will heal you for 100% of the damage done. So that is how you play that build. If you have questions, probably ask me on Discord, and I'll elaborate into it further. It's not that hard to understand. It's pretty simple. I made this. It's mine. I'm kind of proud of it. So there is not a mob in the game that's going to be able to kill you unless it stuns you or it's a boss level mob. I can think of maybe a few that are super annoying, but certainly nothing in strat that you're going to be farming will kill you. Dire Maul, I like to farm the trees in there, and it's fairly simple. Though to farm the trees, I would probably take Lava Burst to meatball them down instead of Molten Blast, since you already have so much AoE from all of your spells. So I think that's about it. I went over my resto set. Again, if anybody's got questions, you can ask me on Discord. I will have answers to your questions. So yeah, that's about it. Let me just double check that I have the correct gear on here. Appears that I do. Let me reorganize this. I got all this screwed up. Okay, that looks right. So that's about it. If anybody's got questions, you can feel free to send me a message on Discord. Shaman is a nightmare to play if you're new. There's about 57 different totems that you need to push. The only totems that you really need is what I have listed here. If you want, I can go through them all in a separate video. But those are really all the totems that you want, and these 3 here. I usually have this one keybound as air, earth, and water, so I have 1, 2, 3 on my mouse. If you wanted to, on like Saffron, you can have a fire totem here if you have to place like frost resistance totem. But I just keep chain lightning there just to fill the gap because I don't put anything there. So those are all the totems that you want to use. And yeah, that's about it, I think. Again, I haven't played a whole lot lately, so the parses that I have could be way better. I'm aware of this. So if you guys are able to push higher, good for you. But that is how to play Shaman, the way that I do. That's the best way that I have seen from both personal testing and from other people. That is the best way that I see to play Shaman. So that's about it, I think. See you later.